1996, 2003, and maybe 2015 all could have something in common, and that is being some of the best NBA drafts of all time. The Michael Jordan draft as well belongs in there. But to the 2015 NBA draft class is quickly proving how deep and talented the selections were. Let's take a quick look at the top 10, because from top to bottom, Karl-Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Jahlil Okafor, Kristaps Porzingis, even Hezonja is getting a lot of playing time nowadays. Willie Cauley-Stein on the defensive end. Moutier, Stanley Johnson, Frank Kaminsky, and Justice Winslow all have proven quickly, say maybe Kaminsky's been a little bit of a letdown, but all have proven quickly that they are impact players. Karl-Anthony Towns is a effing freak of nature NBA player, and I'm going to let Andre go into more detail about that because I know he's watched a lot of Karl-Anthony Towns this year. But D'Angelo Russell is turning around, stringing together some 20-plus point games. And a stat that I really would like to know if there is out there, how many assisted shots should have been assists, like a half assist, when you see the open passer and he's wide open from a mid-range and he misses. I feel like D'Angelo's got screwed on a few of those. Jahlil Okafor, back to the basket player, but a talent. Of course, I've talked about Porzingis enough. And then quickly, actually, let's see that second card, because 11 through 20 also do have a few names, including Devin Booker, who's on fire! 35 points! Ridiculous. Terry Rozier, haven't seen too much of him this year. DeLon Wright, brother of Darrell Wright, playing in the NBA. Trey Lyles, Miles Turner. I'm totally out of order. But in general, there's a lot of names there that everybody is already aware of and knows is going to become a good player, barring any injuries. Mr. Snellings.
Yes, sir.
Start with Karl-Anthony Towns because this man is a freak, and explain to us why.
Yes, he is. So I got to see Towns in person for the first time last year in Las Vegas at the Summer League. And it was clear even from then that he was not going to be your average center. You know, like he was drafted because, I mean, obviously people saw the talent, but he was a 7-footer. He had size. They said, well, he's got post moves. He can be, you know, polished, maybe like a Tim Duncan type. But I was watching him in Vegas, and he was handling the ball. He was shooting threes in the warm-ups. He was trying, you know, flick bounce passes and doing it comfortably like he meant to do it. And so what we've been seeing this season is that, yeah, he did mean to do it. Yeah, he has that talent. He's like a new age center. Like the throw the ball into the post and let the guy do dribbles and drop step for a dunk days. That NBA is not the current NBA. The current NBA, even big men have to be dynamic. And so Towns, his jumper is wet out to about 18, 19 feet. Like, even off the dribble, it's just like, it doesn't even touch the rim. And so I didn't expect him to be that good of a shooter. He's really comfortable facing up. He can operate out the post. He's strong on defense. He doesn't really have a weakness, you know? So there's already debates as to which center out of Kentucky is going to be the more successful pro, Towns or Anthony Davis. And even as a rookie, he earns his place in that debate.
Right. So when I watch Karl-Anthony Towns, I mostly say to myself, this just is not fair. It's not fair for the league. I've made the bold prediction. I think he could be a 2-time MVP. I think his ceiling is Tim Duncan. I think that is one of the best ceilings you can have, although a different player, just in general, 5 championships and one of the best power forwards of all time, if not the best power forward of all time. Pretty good ceiling to have in the NBA, if you ask me. But in terms of the draft class, I guess what I'm going to gear towards here is that in 96, you have AI, you have Steve Nash, you have Kobe Bryant, Hall of Famers. In 2003, you have LeBron, Hall of Famer. You have Carmelo Anthony, arguably, but probably just finishing in the points alone, probably Hall of Famer. More debate there. But Dwyane Wade, surefire Hall of Famer. How many of these guys out of this draft need to string together back-to-back all-star games and find scoring titles within this and win championships for us to say this is one of the best draft classes we've ever seen?
Right. So it's really interesting because this draft is one that teams were kind of looking forward to for a few years, or the public was like, oh, yeah, can't wait to that draft class. And then I remember towards the end of last year, there were a couple of NBA execs, I think, trying to be the cool kids saying, it's not that good. You know, it's not that top heavy. But we're seeing that, no, it really was worth the wait. So I think you touched on Towns definitely has Hall of Fame potential. You just go down the list. D'Angelo Russell, he struggled. I watched him in Vegas too, and he wasn't looking too good. But as this season's going along, I think we're starting to see what he could be. And over his last 10 games or so, he's averaging about 20 points, 5 assists, and most importantly, on 48% shooting from the field, about 3 threes. So I could see him developing into somebody that could be a Hall of Famer. Jahlil Okafor Hall of Fame is a little more difficult for me to see because he's a scoring center without much defense, and those aren't necessarily what's in vogue now. But I could definitely see him being a perennial 2010 guy, maybe a answer to the Al Jefferson or
That's a good comp.
Carlos Boozer of this generation. If he messes around, gets on a successful team, you never know. That could be a borderline Hall of Famer. One doesn't have to look past your T-shirt to see that you feel Porzingis could very well. He has that talent. He has that potential. So if you come out of a draft where out of the first 4 guys, you can make an argument that 3 of them have pretty solid Hall of Fame potential if everything goes right, and that there's a 4th that's right there, and you haven't even started mentioning the other guys in the class, like the Mario Hezonja.
Right.
He hasn't played much so far, but he was supposed to be really good, and you're starting to see a little bit of it now. The Moutiers, he's been balling over the last few weeks. You mentioned Devin Booker. He's been unconscious. He's a shooter at a time when shooters are in vogue. So Miles Turner, almost forgot about him out of Indiana. He's been balling. So yeah, there's a lot of talent that's already been expressed so far, and is plenty of upside.
It just makes the NBA product that much better, that much more exciting to watch as these guys develop. The one guy you left off who I don't think will be a Hall of Famer in terms of the ceiling, but I do think will be a major piece to a lot of important teams in his future if he sticks with one of the Miami Heat, and that's Justice Winslow, who's a high IQ basketball player, and that kind of real plus-minus all-star type of guy. Love his game, love his basketball IQ, but again, when it comes down to it, only time will tell. 10 years from now, we might look back and say, oh, 2015, we need another 2015 draft. Or 10 years from now, we might look back and go, what happened to all of these guys? They're playing in China. They followed Michael Finley.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was actually my Hoops Lab column this week was about the rookies class then and now, after Vegas versus now. And I thought I projected them after Vegas to be a really successful class, and several of them are far outplaying expectations. So that bodes well for their future.
That's always awesome. Make sure to go check out that RotoWire.com Hoops Lab article. You can find it at RotoWire.com/NBA. Check out Andre Snellings on Twitter at Professor DRZ, myself at JasonRubin91, and of course at TYT Sports on Twitter. Make sure to comment below with where you think this draft class could potentially rank amongst the greats, and we'll see you next time.